Hello and welcome to The Voice. My name is Joseph Salam. I'm an editor here, and I am sitting with Bryan Dosono, who is a candidate for Director of University Affairs with Imagine UW. Thanks for coming by and taking a few moments out of your day to speak with us.
No problem. Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just jump right in here. So, you're running for the Director of University Affairs position. It's like
Correct.
You deal with faculty. It's not the most glorious position. So, the real question here is, why is this position for Director of University Affairs so important?
Right. Well, the position last year was named Director of Faculty Administration and Academic Affairs. So it'd be really easy, or I could see how it'd be easy for the next director to really get caught up with speaking to faculty administration, but it may be a little easy. And I can see how it can be for the next director to maybe leave students at the forefront since the director be so caught up talking to these kind of officials. And that's where I feel that the next director of University Affairs really has to be a public servant to students instead of just a politician. The next director of University Affairs has to be able to talk to students comfortably to see what students want and where students' interests lie. And I've been doing that really well this year as chair of the Student Senate, where I've advocated for the voices of over 40,000 students here at the University of Washington, knowing where they stand on certain issues like the dog pack, or on campus sustainability, or issues really relevant to students that they push for, that they submit themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. This question is one that we've heard around, and is just kind of directed to you as an individual. You've been described as adorable and cute and sweet at times, all good qualities, of course, but rarely used to describe really strong advocates. How will you make sure that you represent students to the faculty and administration in such a manner that requires respect from all parties involved? Right.
Well, I have heard those terms addressed previously, and I just really want to address it here. Aside from the ACW, I'm also heavily involved with my fraternity, Lambda Phi Epsilon. And in that capacity, I currently serve as the vice president. And in Lambda Phi Epsilon, I really work hard and am committed to the advancement of the fraternity. So when it comes to decisions that revolve around money or that revolve around membership, I make these decisions confidently and I make them firmly. And I'm assertive in the decisions I make. So I just feel that my involvement with Lambda Phi Epsilon also shows another side of me, a side where I can push for ideas. As the current Senate chair, I'm not really allowed to say much because I have to keep a neutral stance when we're debating resolutions that have been submitted by students. I can't really say anything. I can't put my voice because I'm the chair. I have to moderate effectively with general fairness. But in my capacity as vice president of my fraternity, I push for agenda items that are for the advancement of my fraternity, and I push for them firmly and with assertiveness.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you.
What is one specific goal you would like to accomplish next year in office, if elected?
So if elected, I'd really like to see students have a stronger voice in the Faculty Senate. Right now, as it stands, I have talked to the current Director of University Affairs, Judge Bradley, and he informed me that not all faculty councils have student voices, have students that can vote. So from what I've heard, the chair of a particular faculty council can decide whether a student has voting power. But generally, students' representatives to the faculty council are ex officio, meaning that they can't vote. And I really want to standardize this next year, and I'm really gonna push for students to have voting power. I feel that it's important for students to weigh in on faculty concerns as well. And I feel that the only way students can weigh in on these issues is if they can vote. And so next year, I really want to push for students to have a seat. And I feel that I can do this by first getting student opinion established through the formal resolution, and then talking to the J.W. Harrington, the current chair of the Faculty Senate, and seeing where it can go from there. But I firmly believe that this is possible, and I'd really like to see students have a vote in the Faculty Senate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our next question is, one of the duties of this position is to appoint volunteers to serve as ACW representatives on relevant university committees. What kind of background do you have in recruiting and nominating volunteers that will help you make these appointments throughout the selection process?
Right. So 2 years ago, I was actually the membership coordinator for the Student Senate, and what I really liked about that job was that I was able to focus on two things: recruitment and retention. For recruitment, I really pushed for a lot of creative ways to get new members involved. Traditionally, Greek members from IFC and Panhellenic really did not have a lot of senators present at these meetings. And in my role as membership coordinator, I work closely with the head senators from both IFC and Panhellenic to make sure that each Greek house did, or as many Greek houses as possible, did have a senator that they could have represented to them in Senate. I also work closely with the RHSA head senator to make sure that their counterpart for the residence halls was also a priority. And because of that, Senate has seen its attendance double during my year as membership coordinator, and that's one of the things I'm really proud about. And the way that, and for commuter students as well, the way that commuter students apply to be in the Senate is that the membership coordinator holds interviews with them. And the way that I conduct these interviews is I go through their background, see where their strengths and weaknesses lie through a comprehensive lens, and see and recruit and appoint senators, just like commuter senators, a seat on Senate, and make sure that they get placed in standing committees where they belong, whether that involves on-campus or off-campus affairs, or even publicity, outreach, and membership. But just seeing where these senators lie in their strengths and their passion, and having them appointed to the best way that they can represent students and the best way that they can have their constituencies from their communities voiced to the Senate.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is that the director of university affairs works directly with GPSS, as stated by the ACDUP bylaws and the job description within. How do you plan to work with GPSS to create a comprehensive student voice to faculty and administration?
Right, that's really important because the Graduate and Professional Student Senate is the counterpart for the graduate students. And I feel that, and one of the requirements, or one of the, what's stated in the bylaws is that the Director of University Affairs sits in on each GPSS meeting, and also the equivalent of the steering for GPSS. And I plan to represent graduate students as well as Director of University Affairs by attending these meetings and seeing where graduate students' perspectives lie on certain campus issues, also attending their steering meetings, and I will probably ask the chair or the president of the Senate to see if I can make a report or maybe an announcement at the beginning of every single meeting on what the faculty have discussed in their council or in their Senate, and relaying that to GPSS. I'd also like to relay that to ASUW because I've been involved with the Senate for 3 years already, and that's about 90 meetings, and not once have I seen a report from the Faculty Senate, and I don't think that this should continue. I think that students should also be aware of faculty concerns, and that's how I will address working with GPSS as well as ASUW to make sure that both student governments are heard in the Faculty Senate.
Yeah, absolutely. And our last question for today is that the new president for the University of Washington will be announced on Monday. How will you interact with the new president to prioritize student voice?
Right. So I feel that I will have to work closely with my current board of directors as well as the new university administration. We'd probably try to set up meetings with regular intervals. So logistically we won't be meeting with the university president once a week, but perhaps once a month or at least quarterly, and showing him what has been approved in the student senate, as well as what relevant board bills have been approved relevant to what the university president would like to see, and then interacting with him, opening and starting a channel of clear communication and safe dialogue to make sure that both sides, the president and the ASUW board of directors, to see that both sides have a way to share information and have a way to receive what the other side wants to see and what the other side wants to see changed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for today, but just on behalf of the editors and the writers and the readers of The Voice, I just wanted to thank you for coming out and
thank you.
lending your time for a YouTube video for us to put on the website.
Awesome.